Hi, I'm Doug Ross, editorial page editor at the Times, here with Mark Kiesling, Times columnist, for another edition of the NWI.com Political Roundtable. Today we thought we'd do something, and we should probably point out that Robert Blaskowitz is not here today, but will be back for future editions of this show.
He's one of Santa's helpers, so he's out delivering gifts.
Exactly. Got to make sure those elves get everything they need.
That's right.
Speaking of which, we thought we'd do a special theme this week
Very nice
do
segue.
a naughty and nice list.
Very nice
So,
segue, Doug.
Who do you think would be on the naughty list this year?
Who do I think would be on the naughty list this year? Well, I think our, and as much as people like to say that I don't like him, I think our county clerk, Tom Philpott's going to have to be on the naughty list this year.
Well, the indictment might have something to do with that.
That would make you naughty. Yeah.
And do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, it actually didn't have anything to do with Philpott's current office, which is the county coroner. It had to do with his previous office in Lake County Clerk's, as Lake County Clerk, and it had to do with money coming in and not being properly dispersed.
And not being a Christmas bonus, but a so to speak.
A bit of a bonus for him and some of his employees, some of his favorite employees, and
And this was federal money that came in
yes.
as a reward for doing well in child support collection efforts and enforcement efforts.
And he did do well in that. And now, one of the things, you can say is that he did well on that, because a lot of that's been it's been changed now, where you don't have to chase down deadbeat dads. The money is taken right out of their paycheck. So it's
Special Christmas garnish.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But he had done a good job on that, and as a result, he got some federal money, and the federal money ended up being put into places where the feds said maybe it shouldn't have been.
Right.
That was kind of naughty.
Well, and
If
that
true.
And that brought the indictment. The question is now, there were some other indictments over the course of the year that were pretty spectacular. I'm thinking machine guns. I mean,
Oh, well, you've got some naughty police officers out there on the Lake County Sheriff's Department.
if this is all true,
If
again,
this is-
they
well,
haven't-
they've actually
Well,
pleaded guilty, so
I guess that is.
we're going to assume this is true.
The question is, where might the naughty list lead beyond that?
The naughty list is going to go somewhere, but we're not quite sure where. The head elf on the naughty list was Joe Comstar, who was at one time the deputy chief on the Lake County Sheriff's Department. He was kind of put in charge of a lot of things because our sheriff, Roy Dominguez, at the time, was out crisscrossing the state looking for support for a run for governor. And so, basically he left the mice in charge of the department, and when the cat's away, the mice will play, and they did, apparently, and they pleaded guilty to it, but they sold 74 machine guns to places that ended up in as close as Mississippi, where one of them was used to attempt to kill a police officer, and some of them have actually surfaced in Afghanistan, where they've been apparently used to attempt to kill U.S. troops.
Doesn't get much worse than that.
No, you can't get much worse than that. You've got to be really, really eager for money to do something like that, to sell out your fellow police officers and the men and women fighting in Afghanistan.
Well, let's switch to the nice list for a little bit. I think I'd have to put two people on the list who have
Well, you get to do the nice stuff.
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
could be good cop, bad cop. There you
Okay.
go. So I think on the nice list, we probably ought to put Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott Jr. and State Rep from Valparaiso, State Rep Ed Soliday, who've worked out a plan for solving the Little Calumet River levee funding. That really addresses the concerns of the people who were critical of the Conservancy District idea and the people who were critical of the existing format.
Well, I think with McDermott, who was in favor of the Conservancy District idea
Initially.
realized that there was going to be some problem with it and was willing to compromise. Now, there are just far too many politicians who would find their pride wounded by having to compromise. But I think McDermott and Soliday said, look, this is not about our egos. This is about getting this thing done.
And this is a bipartisan approach to it too. When you figure McDermott's chairman of the Democratic Party in Lake County, which has some clout downstate.
Yeah.
And
Much so.
And of course, here we have a Republican legislator who's putting the bill forward. So, that hopefully will go well.
Well, I think anytime you can get some type of bipartisan cooperation, you kind of go onto the nice list, because that's what it's all about. It's and I don't mean to sound Pollyanna-ish, but it's really about helping the people in your district, helping the people who elected you, and even the people who didn't elect you. And I think they're doing that. And now, if you want to throw something else in, you and I talked yesterday with Lake County Commissioner Jerry Shue about the redistricting map, and I think there was some compromise there.
And this was redistricting for the county commissioner district. The upshot was that Lake County is the only county in Indiana that has to have the Indiana Election Commission do the actual approval of the new districts. Everywhere else, basically, it's the county commissioners doing it. So only in Lake County, here's another example.
Well, it's only in Lake and St. Joe counties do you have, do you have elected versus appointed judges.
Right.
So
there are exceptions.
It's Lake County, for better or worse, is viewed downstate as an anomaly, and it's treated differently.
Too many people on the naughty list over the years.
Too many people on the naughty list, and I think Shube and who's a Democrat, and the incumbent commissioner worked with some of the people who are Republicans, and are going to, because the Republicans are now a majority, are going to have a say in that map. They were able to work together to come up with some type of compromise.
The compromise being one map for
The current election.
basically the current
2012 election.
right, and then it changes to presumably get Republican control of that district after that.
Now,
And-
speak a minute, if you would, Doug, to the criticism of Shube. He's 76 years old. He says this is going to be his last term. Well, I've heard that before from him. But I think maybe I think maybe it's true this time. I know his wife's getting tired of him being a commissioner.
Thank you for finishing that sentence.
So there's been some criticism. They said, hey, you just took care of yourself. You made sure you got reelected in 2012. You don't care what happens to Democrats down the line.
Well, Jerry
you
came
sold
in.
them out.
Jerry came in and brought a number of maps to show that it seemed to indicate that the votes that he would gain versus lose, that actually he'd lose in this. But frankly, his margin for error has been so high in the past elections that he really didn't have much to worry about.
And again, like we were talking about before, Shub has shown a willingness to work with Republicans to get things done. I don't know whether that's so much an ideological thing or a practical thing, but I think he realizes that in that southern district where there are a lot of Republicans, he's got to make them happy, and thus far he's made enough of them happy to continue getting reelected.
Well, and I think that's something that we'll be looking for the next naughty or nice list next year, is to see Republicans and Democrats compromising, getting along. Maybe we'll see some evidence of that, maybe not, but we'll find out next year when we come back. But we'll be back next week for another edition of the NWI.com Political Roundtable. See you then.
And have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone.
Absolutely.